Welcome once again to Ranting and Raving with some alien, which is myself. And the rant for today is knowledge is power. Um, Me, myself, I have a small problem with that, but this is just me. This is my opinion on what's happening. So, the reason I say this, um, the fact is that as long as we're in the computer and technology age, everything is steadily advancing all the time. Therefore, with that happening, you have to have a continuous education. You have to continue whatever field of work you're in to learn the new ins and outs of whatever your chosen field or path is. So, with that being said, and I know I always say that with that being said, but most careers are all, like I say, continuous. And the reason I say this is because I've had several certificates and whatever diplomas or whatever you want to call them. I call them just sheets of paper because they mean nothing if you can't get hired in the area in which you've gotten the certificates for. But anyway, let's see. If you don't keep up with, I'm talking about something different, but it's still the same topic. If you don't keep up with your transcripts, or the schools, like a lot of schools are going out of business or transferred titles or whatever, like Baton Rouge Community College or BRCC or different schools, when they change their name, sometimes they don't keep all the information, or they call it, what's they call it? Transferring it over or tying it or merging or whatever you want to call it. Well, they did that back about 4 or 5 years ago to my information and knowledge or whatever. And I went to try and get a transcript and called. They couldn't find it in my paperwork. And the reason I'm saying is they want you to always keep copies, or keep your transcript where you handy. Never open it. You have to keep it sealed, because once you open it, it voids. But just so happens, I kept a copy of mine that wasn't open. But had I not had that backup, I wouldn't have no proof that I had attended the school or had the certificate that I had, because everyone knows the flood of 2016 and whatever took a lot of people's possessions and identification and what have you. So it's good to have a backup on that. And back to what I said, knowledge is power. Yeah, it's depending on who controls that power. I mean, knowledge is power, meaning you have a certificate, you have a diploma, you have a degree or whatever, but you may have all that knowledge, but once you go put that knowledge in front of someone you want a job with, if they don't feel that your credentials are up to their par or overqualified, knowledge is not power. It puts you back down to norm, like you're a normal person, because you can't get anything done. And I was just sitting here, and this was not to be my topic, but I just went ahead and went on it because I'm thinking to myself, I have graphic arts and all that, but the graphic arts that I have, I guess you could say, is Stone Age, because that's cutting, paste up, working the 360 printing press and all that, where you actually had to manually cut out, paste, and put everything to the page and get it done to get it ready for the printing press with the camera room, dark room, and all this typesetting and blah blah blah. Well, that's obsolete now, so they're using computers, technology, something more advanced and even faster. So that's, like I said, that knowledge is gone. I learned all that for nothing, because the way I see it, schools, knowing what the different agencies or industry is looking for, they shouldn't train you on stuff that's going to become obsolete in 3 or 4 years. I know they may not know some of the things that are happening, but with all this top technology and Apple and different computers, they could research for themselves or go out there and find out what's not going to be there, and don't try and put that in their curriculum for people to learn to waste money, because you're paying for all thousands of dollars to go to school, and for nothing. You know, you pay it and don't get a job in that field, you still owe that money back, and they're going to be having their hands out wanting their student loans, their funding to help you go to school. So I'm just saying, knowledge, it may be power, but uh, not always. I'm sorry. I'm not an expert, but I'm just ranting and raving on the way I see it. You know, it puts a lot of people in debt, and you know, makes it where the government maybe never go broke because you always owe them some money. But anyway, and that's more or less a little petty issue that I was just wondering, you know, all these people running out getting all these degrees, and maybe they need to invest in researching some of the schooling or something they're going into or whatever it is, because graphic art, it's not like old days. What else? Acting, camera, dark rooms, all of this stuff has changed. Even with theater and acting, you know, even though I have stuff in that as well, but it's all changed to mostly, it's moving towards computer, digital animation. They have some programs that's in this DAZ 3D animation. Looks so real. Looks like, you know, myself, you know, looks like real people. So after a while, they're not going to need actors because they're going to have all this animated stuff that looks so real that is unbelievable. They're asking a lot to purchase the programs, but it's really nice. I love the programs for that. So I was just saying, so people that's out there that's getting training or learning their new field, you know, I think like, I don't know, maybe doctors, childcare, you know, they don't be able to really change childcare because children are constantly changing and evolving. So, I mean, that'll always probably be around because they can't have a robot trying to watch a child, you know. Well, that's a lie. They got iPads and TVs that's doing it, that's babysitting, so I guess they can. So, nah, I just made a lie out of myself on Facebook. But anyway, that's about all. So I'm going to let you go on that note. But if you think about it, what are you really learning? You know, if it's changing, it's constantly changing, and you're constantly having to go out and update everything because of the new standards and what have you. And then not only are the knowledge and whatever is changing, you're having to constantly pay for it. Don't you think if they're charging you all that money to go to school, such a high price for the first year or two, maybe they should give you that training at a discount or free because you paid for it already and you're not actually in your said field to even make it count. So, well, I'm some alien with Rant and Raven, and I just had to blow that off. I mean, you know, to get that off my mind, because I have certificates that really I don't think is worth the ink that was used to print it, because, you know, they can actually lose your livelihood if you don't keep up with all the schools that you attend and get something stating that you went there, because they can actually lose your life for you. So it may sound stupid, but it's true. And thanks for joining. Until next time. I'm not going to say be blessed, but take care. Love my hair? Looks a bit puffy, huh?